gives me a profound spiritual joy to greet you once again, and particularly to greet our youth who are here, and I'm sure that they followed this panel presentation with some interest, because what I have said in this book, the question that I have raised, the challenges that I have identified, the concerns that I have outlined are in one way or another related to our youth. This book does not contain studies, academic studies. This book does not also contain in-depth analysis pertaining to our youth and our communities in general. This book, in a sense, is a wake-up call. This book tries to highlight the kind of issues, questions, concerns, and challenges that touch our daily life. Therefore, the reader will meet, while going through the pages in this book, issues, perspectives, challenges that are of existential nature and scope. In other words, this is the mirror of our churches and communities' life. Furthermore, in this book you will never come across affirmations or statements. Dogmatic approach is far away from this book. This book rather tries to raise questions and invite our people to reflect on this issue. In other words, this is a kind of invitation addressed to our community members, to our clergy, to our youth and women, to take a serious look at this book and try to deepen the reflection that I have started in and through this book. It is very important, therefore, that we look at this book from this perspective. Reflection, a serious reflection, which I believe is of crucial importance today. I don't believe in activism. Any action that is not sustained by serious reflection is doomed to failure. We need to develop a serious reflection with a holistic approach, because we are living in an interdependent world. What does this mean, globalization? Globalization, it's not only an economic phenomenon. It basically means that today the world is very much interconnected, interdependent, interrelated, including the issues, the concerns that we are facing today. We are part of the society. our church, our community, our families, our schools are an integral part of society. Today we cannot draw lines of demarcation between our problems and others' problems. Your problem is my problem, and the other way around. So, this interactive approach to our problems is of crucial importance in terms of understanding the real nature of the problems and the challenges we are facing today as a church and community. But reflection must be translated into action. Otherwise, it remains theoretical exercise. How we can move from reflection to action? We need to establish clear criteria. We need to have a clear methodology. This is what we need in our church, in our community life. This book is also a challenge addressed to our church. Our church must become a church for the 21st century. I'm not saying that we have to forget the past. Our church is deeply rooted in its history, in its tradition, in its theology, in its spirituality. But at the same time, our church must open itself to new environments, to new realities. We cannot remain a church, a self-contained, self-sufficient church, but a church which has the courage and responsibility to respond to the emerging realities of our times. The church cannot say, it's none of my business. The church cannot say that that is not my problem. The church cannot remain on the periphery of our life. Our church must have a sense of responsibility to open itself to the new realities, to the new environments, to the new issues, ethical issues, environmental issues, political issues, human issues, medical issues. These are the issues of the time, and the church cannot remain indifferent. These issues should occupy a place on the agenda of the church. Therefore, the church's outreach is very important. The church should perceive itself not as an institution, but as a community, as a mission which is in a constant process of being in outreach. For many centuries, our church, the Armenian church, put the emphasis on the enrich, namely survival. That was a legitimate concern. Today, without undermining the importance of survival, the enrich, our church must also emphasize the importance of going beyond itself to the life of our people. So, in this book, I have touched in one way or another, on a smaller or larger scales, all these issues, and I have invited our people to think about this, to deepen the reflection that I have started. But it is vitally important that we go, as I said, from reflection to action. We must translate our reflection into an impact making action in the life of our church and the community. The church, our church, as I always remind our people, is the people's church. I don't like national church. Saying national church. Azgayli Gegency. No, Jovovutin Gegency. The people's church. The people are present in the life of our church, in all aspects, in all dimensions and manifestations of our church. Our people are present, including the decision-making processes and the structures that was mentioned. This is our church. This is not the clergy's church. Our church should not be clergy-centered church, but people-centered church. And therefore, through this book, I invite our people to participate more actively, more responsibly, more committedly in the life and witness of our church. And renewal of our church is of decisive importance in the world today. The church is not a museum. Our church must keep pace with the rhythm of changing times in order to respond more responsibly, in order to become more relevant, more credible, more reliable. This is the real meaning of the church. What does it mean to be church today? Today, we are living in a different world. We are living in different environments. Therefore, this is it. This is a wake-up call. And I think if we are serious about our church, we have to take these issues very seriously. I would like to express my deep appreciation to the panelists who raised these issues that I have outlined on the pages of this book. And it is my expectation that we continue this discussion that we started here in our families, in our schools, in our parishes, in our committees, in our communities. These are our issues, not only my issues. These are our challenges. And the youth and the women are called to play a pivotal role in this process.